Hello, everybody. My name is Leah Spielman, and we will just wait a few moments. Nobody's on yet, so nobody can see that. We are going to be going live here shortly. Well, we are live now, but we're going to be discussing some online updates about WordPress, Google Analytics, and Facebook. So we are just going to wait a moment until some folks join, and then we will go ahead and get started. Hi, Dawn. I see that you joined. If you can just send a note, let us know you can hear us and how we sound. We've got the Yeti out today. And we are, like I mentioned, just going to wait a few moments, let some folks join and see that we're live in their news feeds, and then they can hop on and hear some updates about WordPress, Google, and Facebook. We are coming to you live from the Ingenuity Marketing Office. We are in our conference room. Good, okay, we've got a couple more people who have joined.
Should we just roll into introductions and just get started?
Definitely. So I will go ahead and get started. My name is Leah Spielman. I am a marketing consultant here at Ingenuity, and I will be moderating our discussion today on the online updates. Robert?
I am Robert Waslick, lead design consultant at Ingenuity.
And I am Virginia McCoy, a communications consultant with Ingenuity, and I focus on SEO and social media.
Great. Thanks for the introductions. So first things first, Robert is going to be telling us about WordPress and some updates that are coming to WordPress. Robert?
Yes, the big news coming from WordPress, scheduled to be coming out in WordPress 5.0, is they're changing out the visual editor, kind of the regular word processing type visual editor is going to be no longer in there. So they're going to more of a modern, it's called blocks, and you build your page up using elements that are just block elements. So you bring images and content in as block pieces.
And one thing I wanted to note is if you have any questions throughout the broadcast, please feel free to ask them. We can see the questions, and so we can answer them either during or after, whatever makes most sense. Robert, a question for you on the WordPress updates. What does it mean for users, and who does it impact?
For our clients, it's going to be anybody who does website updating in WordPress and doing any kind of blog injection.
Okay.
It's really going to impact the way that they develop their page layouts.
And why is WordPress making this change?
I think they're trying to do it, there's a couple different reasons. They're trying to make it more user-friendly for users.
Okay.
So they're making this change to try to compete with kind of the Wix type website layout programs. And the other reason is they're trying to prepare WordPress for the upcoming future of web, which is going to focus around VR.
And VR, for those who don't know, is virtual reality, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So with the WordPress updates, if somebody has a WordPress site, can they get online somehow and test it out before it becomes live?
Correct, yeah. I've been testing it. I've been doing the beta testing on the plugin right now, and I believe we're going to have the link in the comments so people can download it onto their WordPress site. I highly encourage people to back up their sites first before doing any kind of beta testing with the new plugin. Just in case something breaks, it's always good to have a backup. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I've been testing the beta version for quite a while. I did notice this morning they changed the UI already of the plugin. So it's very different than it originally was.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty important to do that, kind of keep up to date with it.
And will they make changes based on feedback from the beta testers,
Correct.
Do you think? Okay,
yes.
Great. So what you see now in the test might be different than what's actually rolled out earlier this summer, depending on the feedback they get from users.
Correct, yep.
Great. Anything else that we should know on WordPress before we move on?
I think that's about it.
Okay, great. Next up, Virginia is going to be discussing some changes with Google Analytics. Virginia?
Yes. So Google is making a big change. So historically, they have looked at the desktop experience when determining how they are ranking sites, but now they are going to be moving to mobile first indexing. So they'll be looking at how your website is on mobile when they're kind of figuring out how they're going to be ranking your site and indexing it on search.
Does this mean that if my site is not mobile, I won't show up on Google?
Yes, so it'll definitely play a big impact on it. So that is one thing that we often see, unfortunately, still with professional service firms, is that their websites are not responsive or mobile friendly. We're going to include a link in the comments here for what you can do to test out your site to see if it is mobile friendly. But we do run across sites still where they're not responsive, and that means that the website isn't set up for tablets or mobile devices. It doesn't respond to them. So you end up having to scroll a lot. You have to kind of pinch and screen to look at to see the actual screen. And so that's one thing that you're going to definitely have to pay attention to in terms of your website.
And why is Google making this change?
They're making the change because of how many people are searching via mobile. So mobile devices are becoming more and more common. I know that is one thing that we've also seen in professional service firms. So it used to be where roughly 97% of website traffic came through desktop, but more and more often we're seeing 30% or more coming through mobile devices. So it's just becoming more and more common, and they're using that as kind of a baseline to make sure websites are set up properly for search.
Great. So you did mention how to find out if your site will be ready for the change, and there is a link in the comments to find out if your website is mobile friendly, and if it is not, then you need to figure out how to get it mobile friendly so that people can find you on Google. The next item that we'll be discussing is Facebook, and Facebook is also making some changes. It seems like all these tech tools make a lot of changes all the time, and it's hard to keep up with them. Virginia, what is Facebook doing?
Yes, so you might have even noticed in your own Facebook, scrolling through it, that they've rolled out a change, and their change is that they are hoping to help spark conversations and meaningful interactions between users, and they're doing that by prioritizing posts from friends and family. So that is a big deal for firms and brands and how they show up in Facebook feeds, and a lot of social media channels are updating their algorithms kind of accordingly, where they're looking at the user experience. There is an option where if somebody is on your page, they can go to see first in newsfeed. So we can always kind of maybe later on show you guys how to do that if you're interested in promoting that for your users. But what's going to be getting a lot of attention are live videos, so things like this, Facebook's going to be prioritizing. And then also in groups, so Facebook offers groups, and if there's an opportunity for your firm to create a group around a specific service or niche or whatever that looks like, then that could be a big opportunity for firms.
So Facebook is making it harder to get in front of my audience. What types of things can I do in order to get in front of the audience? You mentioned live videos and groups. How else can I get in front of my followers?
Yeah, so this is a good question, and it's something that also translates to Google as well. So making sure that your content is relevant and timely. So maybe there's a topic that's happening in the news that you can relate back to your service. That would be a great example. But also, when you are creating content for your firm's content marketing strategy, making sure that it's high quality is important. There are channels out there where you can purchase content, so you're going to be needing to customize that more and more in order to show up on social media channels and in Google. So that'll be really important. But really just making sure that it's timely. One thing to also note with this, it's becoming more and more common with professional services firms. I know this was typically business to consumer in the past, is creating target client personas. So making sure you have kind of examples of who your audience is, and then asking questions about what their interested in, what their concerns are, what's keeping them up at night, and relating that back to your content and making sure that your content is very targeted in order to reach them organically.
Great. So it sounds like content is key with, everything, but of course with Facebook's updates coming. Great. Well, that completes our 3 topics. And if you have anything else that you would like to hear about from the creative team here at Ingenuity, we'd be more than happy to round up some questions, gather the team together, come back on Facebook Live in order to share that information with you. So we'll leave it open for a few more seconds here to see if there are any more questions that come in. Can you explain engagement bait? Is that the same as content targeting?
That is a great question, Carrie. So one thing that you might see often, might have seen with Facebook in the past is brands kind of putting together a strategy of sorts where they have maybe a really coveted Christmas item or a gift card or something like that. And then they say to their audience, okay, like this post and comment with a friend's name or why you think this is important. And we'll put your name in for a drawing. And it's just a way to increase their engagement. Well, Facebook's going to be cracking down on that more often and demoting those posts. So I would definitely take that kind of out of your strategy belt when you're moving forward with different Facebook and social media strategies.
Wow, I see that all the time. It's like half of my newsfeed is people sharing their posts about in order to win something.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. We hope you learned some updates, and stay tuned to Ingenuity and our blog. We will keep posting updates there and on our Facebook page and social media channels. So with that, we will return to your day, and have a good one. Bye.
Bye.